Hey, I'm Max, and today I wanted to start a new game because that's all any game dev can do. For some reason, I really wanted to make a turn-based RPG, but I usually find those type of games very boring. So I thought I would try to make one, but make it more aligned with my taste, and maybe I would end up creating something that other people will enjoy as well. Let's check it out. First, I started with the top-down template on Unreal Engine, because when controlling many characters, the top-down view is usually preferred, and moving by clicking is a useful base. I started by making a basic level environment. I went with a graveyard map to start, but hopefully I'll make many more cool looking maps. I decided to make the movement on a grid, because turn-based without a grid sounds kind of weird. But maybe I could try to make some levels without a grid later, I'll think about it. All I had to do was to spawn a grid of squares, and then make it so when you click one, you move to it. I started adding some characters and spells using the energy system. Energy is given to each team every round, and is shared for the whole team to use and cast spells. Obviously, the stronger the spell, the more energy it will cost. And also moving a character costs energy based on the character speed, so the higher the speed is, the lower the cost to move in energy is. So you have to manage your energy for your whole team to move each character and use the spells that you want. But as you can see, the UI still needs a lot of work, and also the wizard had a cool bug that when he attacked, his hair went to his feet. I'm not really sure why it happened, but I fixed it. There's also no effects for the fireball attack of the wizard, and it's not AoE damage yet, so I have to add that. So I started modeling some ice blocks for the free spell and making effects for the fireballs, shields and other spells I wanted to make. And I also fixed the UI. I also made it so when you're aiming to cast a spell, it will light up the selected square, and if it is valid it will light up red, and if the selected location is not valid it will stay dark red. This way you can easily see the range and if your target is valid. The warrior can swing to a nearby square and deal damage to the enemy there if there is one. He can also do a yell to heal himself, or he can jump and crush the ground at the selected location to do AoE damage to everyone around. The wizard can fire a fireball for AoE damage, freeze nearby enemies or trigger a storm that will deal AoE damage over 3 rounds. Finally, the priest can cast the holy ray dealing damage to enemies or healing allies if it touches an ally. He can also shield an ally, absorbing the next 5 damage they take, and he can also heal his team. The problem now is that as long as you have energy, you can spam spells, and that is very overpowered. Also, because you can spam spells with one character, you don't need to move forward your whole team, you can just move one at a time and use that one. And so that makes the team kind of pointless. So I added a cooldown and rage system. The cooldown assures that you cannot do a spell more than once every round, or a couple of rounds if it's a stronger spell. The rage system is to make sure that you can't keep a character in the back and use strong spells as soon as they come off cooldown, without ever risking that character or using other spells with it, because strong spells will cost rage, and unlike energy that is shared for the whole team, rage is for each character, and is only generated when you deal or take damage. So for example, if you don't swing at an enemy or get attacked with your warrior, you cannot use the crush spell because it costs 1 rage. Using these two systems, it forces you to send characters you want to use strong spells with to the front, and forces you to use multiple characters in a turn, instead of just spamming your strongest attack with one character for the whole turn. Finally, I added a goblin and gave him a simple swing attack, and tested out my 3 characters against 5 goblins. Obviously my 3 characters won by far. So at this point I have a pretty normal turn-based RPG, and of course I still need to add many things like gaining XP, leveling up, level selection, bosses, and a couple other traditional RPG things, but I also have many ideas to make it more fun and different from others, such as capturing characters to use in your team when you defeat them, and also a talent system that will allow you to build the same character but in different ways. So maybe you can have a wizard more focused on freezing enemies and another one more focused on AoE damage. So I'll see what I can do, maybe I can make it interesting. Subscribe if you want to see the future of this game,